In a small and beautiful town called Annie, there lived a young girl named Zikora. She is beautiful and warm. She lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters, Uju and EJ, who never liked her. Despite her kind heart and gentle nature, she was often mocked by her stepsisters and her peers for not being as quick-witted or smart as they were, and this made her lose her self-confidence. She was always by herself as none of her peers would play or hang out with her. They all teased Zikora for not being as brilliant as they thought they are.
Zikora, you are so slow. You will never be as smart as us,
teased one child.
Yes, you will always be a silly goose,
said another. Zikora had learned over the years to not react in front of her peers, but she would always cry herself to sleep most nights. Her stepmother and stepsisters did not care too much about her well-being, and so she carried on all by herself. One day, Zikora was being teased as per usual by her classmates. But this time, unable to bear the mocking grin on their faces, Zikora ran from her classroom down a pathway that leads to a lonely and almost deserted forest. She wanted to get away from all the noise, and so she wandered deeper and deeper into the forest until she stumbled upon a clearing with a beautiful ancient tree in the center. She sat under the tree and sobbed bitterly.
Why can't I be smart like the others? Why am I always the one left behind?
Zikora cried as she beat herself up.
I wish I could be as smart as the other kids at school, even if it's just for a day.
Zikora continued in her painful lamentations. Suddenly she heard a voice.
Hi! Why do you cry?
Zikora turned around to see a bird very close to her.
What are you? And how can you talk?
Asked Zikora in amazement.
I am just a bird. I saw you crying from my nest,
answered the talking bird. Zikora wiped her tears and observed the talking bird for a minute before she responded.
I have been teased all my life by my friends for not being brilliant and smart. I have no confidence in myself, and I often feel intimidated by the other kids. What do you wish for then?
Asked the talking bird.
I wish to be smart, even if it's just for a day. To have my friends respect me and my stepmother shower me with praises and love as she does my stepsisters, Uju and AJ. I want to feel what it's like to have people admire me for being smart, even if it's just for a day.
Zikora responded, almost frustratingly.
I will grant your wish and make you very smart for a day, but on one condition,
said the bird.
What is the condition then?
Asked Zikora.
You have a very kind heart, Zikora. You care for others and see the beauty in simple things. These are gifts that cannot be measured by mere intelligence. So, if I must grant your wish, you have to promise that you will still be as kind and as warm-hearted to others,
replied the talking bird. Zikora promised the talking bird that she will remain a sweet and loving person, regardless of whether people appreciate her or not. And so, the talking bird perched on her head and told Zikora that her wish had been granted, and she would be as smart as her peers for a day, starting from the next morning. Zikora thanked the talking bird and ran back home, excited as ever before. The next morning, Zikora woke up beaming with smiles.
Today is my day to be smart,
she screamed. She went about her house chores diligently, had her breakfast, and left for school. During classes, Zikora paid close attention to the teacher, and as the teacher was asking questions, Zikora was providing answers to the questions effortlessly. She would raise her hand before anyone else and provide correct answers to the teacher's questions. Her classmates were amazed by how brilliant Zikora had suddenly become. Zikora went on and on, listening and answering questions all through the day until the close of school. Some of her classmates rushed to her to ask for help for their assignments, and she coached them all through it. Her stepsisters, Uju and EJ, couldn't believe their eyes at how brilliant and confident Zikora had become overnight. They came to her too for assistance and pleaded for her forgiveness for how rudely they've treated her in the past. Zikora hugged her sisters and forgave them. She also helped them through their assignments. As the sun was setting, Zikora sat on her bed, looking up to the sky, thankful for the opportunity to be brilliant, to be seen and be appreciated. She knew she might go back to her old self at daybreak because the talking bird only granted her wish for a day. She smiled at the sky in appreciation and made a silent wish that her newfound confidence and brilliance never disappears as she drifted off to sleep. The next day at school, Zikora was even more confident and brilliant than the previous day. She became the admiration of the whole school, and her peers were drawn even more to her humility and warm heart. A week later, Zikora was still amazed that she was still brilliant and smart, and so she decided to visit the forest and seek out the talking bird. When she got to the same spot where she met the talking bird the last time, lo and behold, the bird was there, sitting gracefully on a stone beside the tree.
Why am I still smart? You granted my wish for a day, and it's been over a week. I'm still brilliant and confident, and my peers no longer tease me,
asked Zikora.
I didn't grant any wish. I am not a magician or a fairy. I only listened and gave you the impression that your wish had been granted. You have been a smart young lady all along, but you needed someone to believe in you, and I did, and still do. I showed you the light you didn't know you had in you, and that's all,
replied the talking bird. Zikora broke down in tears and hugged the talking bird so tightly.
Remember, Zikora, you are worthy just as you are. You have the power to achieve great things,
added the talking bird. And so, Zikora gained her self-esteem and continued to bloom like a beautiful flower. She visited the talking bird occasionally to play around the forest. She also gained a new love and attention from her stepmother and stepsisters, and her brilliance continued to grow as the years went by. This is the end of my story.